Okay, welcome back to AM Dynasty again. Thanks for joining us again. We got our co-host Big Cuzz, who's with us for another episode. We just came out from in the community making another video about some of the artwork that we have here in the Bay Area. I hope you enjoyed it. Did want to stop and talk to Big Cuzz and family about their trip. They do a lot of traveling often. This summer they did a lot of traveling. And we wanted to ask them a couple of questions about it. We know you probably missed Big Cuzz on some of the previous episodes that we did recently, but he's been out the country getting around the planet real quick. So we wanted to ask him a couple of questions about his trip. So where you been so far this summer, Big Cuzz? Tell us about your travels.
Well, most recently, myself and my wife, we went on a cruise with Vessel at Sea. Which is traditionally an African American only cruise. This was their 30th year, which they had a huge gala on board the boat to celebrate and commemorate the 30th voyage of this all African American cruise.
Really, I never heard of that before. They do it 30 years annually.
Yeah, so it's a travel agency based out of San Francisco that puts on this cruise, and again, they're in their 30th year. And so we had some friends who regularly go, who invited us to go, and we booked our trip. And it was funny, part of it was affected by COVID because we actually booked the trip in 2019, but because of travel restrictions on cruise ships, we weren't actually able to enjoy the trip until this year.
Really? Interesting. So how was the trip, basically?
The trip was wonderful. It left from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and we went on an 8-day cruise, and we went to Haiti first, and then we went to the Dominican Republic, and then we went to Curacao and finished up in Aruba.
Really?
And then we returned back to Fort Lauderdale.
Nice. So did you meet any interesting people? Have you been to any of these places before? Or?
I have been to. My wife and myself took another trip, I believe, in 2018 or 2017. We went to the Caribbean. That time we went to Puerto Rico, we went to St. Thomas, we went to Curacao, we went to Aruba, and we went to St. Kitts.
What's Curacao like?
Curacao is a nice island where there are lots of people that look like us. It was settled by the Dutch, and I believe they still, I don't want to say ownership, but they're still considered a territory of the Dutch, and it's a nice island, very beautiful, very tropical, wonderful place to visit.
Yeah,
very small but nice.
So you took a cruise? It was a cruise?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a cruise. It was really nice. My wife took the cruise with us. You want to talk a little bit about the cruise, Brandy?
Sure. So. Again, it was a cruise put on by Blue World Travel out of San Francisco, California. Totally had a Bay Area feel, and Curacao is one of the places where Curacao liqueur is
Blue Curacao, yeah.
is made.
Oh, really?
Yes, and in the past we've done a tour
of the factory
and learned a lot about the island. The other places that we went to, La Ramona and the Dominican. Beautiful, of course, the Dominican Republic.
Really?
Haiti, which was Labadee, Haiti, and again, beautiful beaches. We have lots of pictures to share with you.
Nice.
And because Haiti is in turmoil right now.
That's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, so as soon as you got off the boat, there were armed, guards or whatever. But we didn't. They have a portion of the beach area sectioned off, where it's just tourists.
Got it.
The locals,
yes,
that are selling items and things like that, they all have to be like registered.
Exactly.
Have,
I can imagine.
Badges
yes.
on and things like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But so more about the cruise is that African American cruise has lots of entertainment that is focused to us. And so what I mean by that is your entertainers are Babyface. We also enjoy
oh wow, okay.
The Isley Brothers, Stokely, comedians such as Damon Williams,
Lavelle
Crawford.
Oh, they were there. They were there.
On the boat.
Sweet.
AJ Jamal was
yeah.
Comedian. He hosted African American Family Feud.
Okay.
Dougie Fresh hosted the White Party, which may have possibly been the highlight of the trip, depending on whom you were.
Got it.
But everybody was all white party.
Yeah.
Completely just, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And then there were a lot of themed nights. So basically, if you go on this trip, you don't have to worry about trying to figure out your itinerary. Everything is completely scheduled for you, and all you have to do is pick what events and activities that you want to attend.
Sweet.
So besides, like I said, Dougie Fresh, he performed and hosted an MC party. There was a local DJ from the Bay Area called Mind Motion.
Oh yeah.
So he was playing all the Bay music, so there was a wonderful Bay vibe on the boat. So it was really easy for us to kind of find our little niche there.
Absolutely.
It was multi-generational, so it was nice to be able to just interact with different folks on different age levels. And it was just a really, really, really good time. We really enjoyed ourselves, and I would definitely take that trip again, and I would recommend.
Okay.
And it probably would even, you don't need anyone, so I think a single person could go and have lots of fun. There's a lot of eligible other singles on there.
Oh yeah.
Also, just from the perspective of just meeting people, and not even with a romantic connotation, just meeting people. There are a lot of people, a lot of networking opportunities. We met people who actually met their significant others, people who they've been married to. So we met a couple who actually met on the boat, and they're still attending the event to this day.
Gotcha. Nice.
And just really, really good people. No problems, no issues. Everybody really just getting along. And it was a really wonderful family feel about just being on the boat. Oh, and I was thinking about some of the other nights that they had, where there was a Wakanda night, it really was, where everybody dressed up in African garb, and we all had our African vests on. So it was really nice to go, and the creativity that everybody displayed in terms of their colors.
Yeah.
It was almost like people had family colors, so couples with all wearing the same pattern dress, as well as whole family groups dressed all in the same patterns, but everybody had a different style,
of course.
And everybody's own personal style came out. There also was a really fun night versus Disney, where everybody dressed up in costumes.
Okay.
Myself and my wife, I went as Dr. Facilier, the witch doctor from Princess and the Frog, and my wife went as Maleficent. So Dr. Facilier's back. Melissa took her to the party. So anyway, we did that.
Nice.
We had Wakanda night. It was really nice. And then we had the white night. So really nice themed nights. And because you're on the cruise, you can prepay. Always remember to prepay for your all of your different little stuff that you want to go do, because you save a lot of money if you do it prior to the ship leaving. So my
Oh, nice.
We were able to just take pictures. And for guys, this is your opportunity to get all those pictures out the way that your wife bugs you.
Gotcha.
Take this way to get them all out the way.
Got it. Got it.
Smart, bring your Christmas outfit. You can probably get that out the way.
There you go. There you go. So listen. So at this event, the whole event was jumping from island to island, like with all. So you guys were just
to some degree. Most of the events were on the boat, but on Aruba, right? They did have a beach party that was really dope, and they had the DJs around there. It was really nice.
Yeah. What was the weather like jumping around from these islands here? It's summertime right now. As at the time you took the trip.
Very humid.
Humid.
Very humid.
Oh man, sweaty.
That's the only drawback I would say.
So you was in linen the whole time, or?
I figured I had a linen outfit, and I figured out that that's the best thing to wear. Next time I'll have all linen.
All linen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get the cotton. Interesting. So as far as you and your wife was saying about the turmoil there in like Haiti. So you guys, they pushing all drama back so that the tourism money can flow through.
Yes.
Because I heard a couple of years ago there was some issues with African Americans or black people going to Haiti. Some black people got killed or something there. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we didn't see that at all, but we did talk to some people on the boat who were talking about that. And basically the presence wasn't anywhere, according to them, of course, because we weren't there, but according to them, the presence that were there this time was way less than it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Especially after that president had gotten assassinated. I think that's when it was really, really, really harsh there. But it seems like things are. But I don't know, because again, we were so isolated from that. It wasn't even anything really to think about, to be honest with you. They did a good job of just keeping that out of sight, out of mind.
What about your hotel quarters at the various islands? How was it for you?
So we stayed on the boat.
For you guys? So
we're completely on the boat, and you only really access the island during the day, and normally you have to be back on the boat anywhere from 3:30 to 10 p.m. depending on what time you docked on the island or what time you were leaving. So like, for instance, we left with Babyface. I believe he probably didn't stay on the boat. All of the other artists stayed on the boat. He seemed like as though he flew out after the show. So he only did one night of shows, where everybody else did 2 nights of shows.
Got it. That's what's up. So yeah, so how many islands was that you guys hit up?
We went to 4 islands.
Yeah. How long were you?
Dominican and Haiti are the same island on different sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's right. So you guys thoroughly enjoyed yourself, huh?
Yeah, we had a good time. It was a nice time for us to reconnect as husband and wife, and us also as friends. So,
yeah.
It also gives you time to remember what you guys liked about each other. Sometimes you get caught up in life and you just,
of course, work,
spending time working, doing this, and sometimes it's just nice to just take some time and just spend no children, just spend time with each other.
That's right. Get your passport punched. Get up in a whole different environment. Not having to deal with the regular rat race concerns you have to deal with out here on a daily basis. So that's always very important. So that's great, man. All you guys that's out there checking out this episode, is that a strong recommendation from you, Big Cuzz?
Very strong. There are also some other components my wife can speak to. There was a women empowerment summit that I didn't go to, obviously. There was a bachelor auction, and also there was a talent show. So I'll let you tell her. She can tell you about those things.
So how was those things, Big Cuzz wife? The women empowerment. I mean, shoot, you would think whether it was women or men, it's like, look, when I go get my passport punched and I'm in a whole other place, I don't want to hear no male empowerment. I don't even want to hear the women empowerment. I'm out there to try, but then again, I'm single, but I'm just saying, what is it like to go hit up an empowerment seminar on a cruise trip, a semi-vacation in a different country? What's that like? Like, I have no idea what that's what that could be like?
Well, I think it was similar to, you know, other uplifting like seminars or talks. The boat was black magic, right? I mean, the entire cruise was nothing but black excellence and black magic. And so it was an opportunity for other black women to meet some successful black women. There were 3 panelists. One was a coach, a physical trainer coach.
Got it.
And she also sang in the talent show. Another woman, she has a book, also does some coaching and works for the government doing government contracts. And so she was helping people understand how to get government contracts and get all the money that's out there and that's set aside for people of color and people who look like us. In any business, I mean, she talked about, you do daycare, well, government buildings contract childcare workers, and you know, janitorial or whatever your business is, there's a way to get government contracts. And so she talked about that and how she went from, you know, a regular job to getting 6 figures a year from government contracts in addition to her job. There was another woman there who talked about the powers of social media, and if you have LinkedIn, you know, she made a really good comment about LinkedIn, and if you don't have a picture on your LinkedIn. She said, well, if you went to a store and they didn't have a name on it on the outside above the door, would you go there for?
Right.
If you walked in and they didn't have prices on the products, are you going to continue to go ask about every product?
Right.
You want to know what is in here. And the name, the picture tells you that. And so the first part of social media and selling yourself is a picture. And so she's just kind of mentioned, you know, all the things that you're not doing to be successful that maybe you should start doing. And if you need help, all these people that are available to help you. And you don't know that, you know, I might not be a LinkedIn coach and I might not be the LinkedIn special person or, you know, have any special qualities. Right. But I know a little bit about LinkedIn, and so I might know a little more than you. And if we help each other out like that, then we can spread this magic around. So.
That's a great point right there, because I have been on LinkedIn for many years, but I never used it because I didn't really know what it was for. It was actually somebody from I think the Golden State Warriors, somebody who worked for the Golden State Warriors, like reached out to me. I think I signed up for it, never used it, and then somebody from the Golden State Warriors somehow jumped on my profile, and then I responded like, yeah, I think you got the wrong person. I'm not interested in, I don't think I'm qualified for some high level job. I didn't understand how to use it. And then a friend of mine this year, she was looking at, she said, do you have LinkedIn? I said, yeah. And then she looked at the profile. She was like, yeah, this is not a dating profile. It doesn't work like that. You need to get your thing straight. So she helped me get my profile. It was more about my business and more professional looking. And then not until I started one of my companies started to bid for, or started to reach out to other companies for contracts, started to go try to get services from other companies, that I noticed that a lot of these companies who I talk with, the first thing that would happen is they would go to my LinkedIn profile. And it was like, one person viewed you today on your profile, and I go look to see who viewed, and I'm like, okay, so this, now I understand what this is for. This is a networking apparatus, and now ever since then I have so many different presidents and owners of companies and politicians and all kinds of other local people on my profile now. So I understand how to use it a little bit better. So I guess I do understand that as far as the trip of Black excellence professionals, where they can give motivational talks, speaking, whether it be women, and also a networking opportunity, I would imagine.
I mean, that's just a small component. It's also families going on their annual trip, and they look forward to this trip. This trip means everything to some people. It's also about couples reconnecting.
Right.
It's about, you know, families too, because now people who have been going on that trip their whole entire life, now they're grown and they're bringing their kids, they're bringing their wives, and now it's become their trip. So it's really cool because it's multi-generational. The other part about it I liked about it was by it being multi-generational, you just got to really hang out and have fun, because we don't realize that there's a lot of things that really tie us together as humans and people. And just because you're older doesn't mean that you don't like to have fun anymore. And I really realized that, like, going out and hanging out and partying with some people, it was some 70-year-olds, 80-year-old people. Some people was out there still getting it in,
for sure.
on their hover rounds. And they still want to have fun.
That's right.
People really still want to get out and find like-minded people and have fun. And so one of the other things that we can tell is that this trip was much needed, just because the sense of everybody being locked in the house because of the COVID factor. So just from a mental health standpoint, a lot of people needed that trip because they haven't had an outlet for a few years dealing with all the pandemic and people wearing masks and all of that stuff. I mean, you know what? There was even that part that came up on the trip. So there was a lot of real life, because we could tell you about all the good. There was a little bad too, because 26 people tested positive for COVID while we were on that boat, but they did a good job of isolating and quarantining folks, and it didn't go any further than that, and it didn't affect the trip, and it didn't change. It just people had half of the trip, people had to put their mask on. And you know what was cool about it is everybody was respectful, and they understood the situation and complied. So there was a lot of compliance. It was just a really good trip. We really enjoyed
good vibes.
And so I look forward to, probably won't go next year. I'll probably go the year after that, but maybe like a every other year kind of a situation. Definitely worth going at least once.
I've never been in such a setting that seems on that particular level of with our people. That's obviously it's like a level of people that's doing fairly well for themselves, that's able to kind of, passports, get out the country, and just everything you said as far as that type of trip. And I've never even been in that type of setting, especially outside the country with our people. So I could imagine it must be a great experience.
To be honest with you, I haven't either. And it was pretty cool. What I realized is it doesn't have to be too expensive. So it wasn't like overly expensive, but it was expensive enough, I think, to weed out the riffraff. So I didn't really see any riffraff stuff going on. It wasn't any of that stuff. Everything was really upstanding, and really I commend everyone who had a part in putting on that trip, because they planned this. I'm gonna say this the wrong way, but they planned the shit out of that trip.
That's right.
It was planned to the T, and I can't really even say that the people who put it on, I don't really have any real suggestions that what they could do better. Everything was really good. Now, there were some things that could have been done better, but it was more on the cruise ships part than it was on FAS, which is Festival at Sea. And so you hear a lot of people, they break it down to the FAS, but and then there's a lot of little small factions inside of that group. So I encourage anyone to go on that trip, and if you want to make it more yours, the more people you bring, the better it's going to be, because you guys can just kind of start to do your own thing inside of the umbrella of the Festival at Sea trip. So definitely a great time.
Well, that's what's up, man. I'm gonna look to see if I can get my weight up so I can join you guys next year on the trip. You know what I mean? You guys show me the ropes.
That's another thing too, is I want everybody to realize that you don't have to get your weight up. So that's one of the reasons why people don't do anything, is that people always feel like, I gotta have this special time, I gotta have the money already in the bank account to fully pay for it. They're really smart about how they do it. And in order to book the trip, you only need $250 to $500 down, depending on what type of room that you're gonna book.
Accommodations.
You could always pull back in a certain amount of time and get your money back.
Got it. Oh, really?
You can pay it monthly. So so depending on how much money you put down, determines how much money you can pay incrementally.
Got it.
And normally you got a whole entire year.
Oh yeah.
So say if it's 25, I'd say the cheapest room you can probably like $2,500. So you can figure $250 a month.
Yeah.
For 10 months to a year, somewhere around there, and have it all paid off. So they understand. It's not like they don't expect you to just put everything down. They make it really accommodating for people to go. So that's another thing too. Don't feel like most of the trips are like that, honestly. The way they do it nowadays, if you plan things out and give yourself time, there's time to pay it off slowly but surely. And a lot of it you can put it on your credit card too. So that $250 a month, you can put it on your credit card, $250, and then pay it off, I don't know, weekly. Yeah. And then, however you did it. So there's ways to break it down to make it easier for yourself.
That's what's up. And that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about some of your travels, because obviously we've known each other for years. You and your wife, you guys stay traveling, going somewhere, doing something exciting with the children, or just you guys. Every time I talk to you, as a matter of fact, over the years, it seemed like you guys just on the way fishing or hitting some water or skiing or traveling outside the country. So figured it'd be a good opportunity to kind of like talk to some people in the AM Dynasty world just about, Big Cuzz travels and what he sees, as well as our other co-hosts. We got him on there, and we like to catch up with people that we know to talk about what's their experiences traveling around, the planet, and what's the cool places to stay, what's the cool foods that they tried, and just how was their overall experience, especially right now in these times where we're have gone through worldwide pandemic. And so what is it like trying to get around outside the country?
That's a whole nother conversation with the food.
Yeah, that's a whole nother.
Talk about that. We went to some wonderful restaurants. I won't unpack that this interview. We could do that another one, but we went to the Caribbean, and man, food for the soul. Especially as Africans, we get out there and we start tasting a lot of the root foods, the yams and the rice. People don't realize these are African American contributions to American cuisine. So Africans brought yams here. We were the first people to farm rice, not Asians, Africans. The other thing is also okra is a staple food of African people. Yeah. And so all of these foods are really prevalent in Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean cuisine. And so when you go and start eating this food for your soul, and it's like when you eat it, man, it wakes up something inside of you. Another conversation, but wonderful food.
Well, man, thanks for sharing. You and the wife, really appreciate it. And we look forward to more Big Cuzz and family travel conversations here in the near future, because it don't stop. It's just getting started. It's gonna keep on going. So, man, appreciate you. Thanks for sharing, brother. And we look forward to seeing you, as well as our viewers and listeners, on the next episode of AM Dynasty. Anything you want to say in closing?
Nope. See everybody later. Thanks for having us, and we look forward to talking to you in the near future.
See you on the next one. Peace.